Hi everybody, and welcome to my channel. Do make sure that you are subscribed and also do like the video. So we are still talking about the passing of Ambassador Nathi Mthethwa. Listen, you guys, there are a lot of theories going around already on social media as far as his passing is concerned. I can only talk about what the newspapers are reporting. Okay, I can't talk about what the theories that people are getting into. I will tell you what are the official publications Zala South Africa and in Paris are reporting, and that is all I can do. Now, if we go back a little bit, you guys, yesterday, very early on, we started getting stories that Nathi Mthethwa had passed away. Initially, it was the Paris publications that were publishing a story, or French publications that were publishing the story. Then later on in the day, we started to see South African publications as well talking about the story. Then the president released a statement which made us believe that honestly it had really happened. Now, you guys, what we learned yesterday was that Nathi Mthethwa had booked a hotel room in this one hotel in Paris on the 22nd floor, and that the conclusion had been that he had allegedly jumped from a window. They had mentioned that the window was not the window that they open all the time at the hotel. In fact, they mentioned what it's very difficult to open this window at the hotel, but he had managed to forcefully open it in order for him to jump from the room, allegedly. Now, you guys, there are things that are mentioned in this article. That's why I think it's important to read it. One, there is a pair of scissors that they found next to the window. Number two, they are talking about the possibilities of having another person in that hotel room. Number three, they are talking about medication and DRUG, Sizoktola substance. Those are the things that they are talking about in this article. So I think it's worth a read, okay? But if you hate me reading articles, go watch other people's videos, honey. Okay? We won't take it personal over here. Nathi Mthethwa's Paris death. French authorities say no sign of struggle in the 22nd floor hotel room. They're saying colleagues and friends of a South African ambassador to France, Nathi Mthethwa, are mourning after the former cabinet minister died at the age of 58. French authorities are investigating according to local media. So they are still continuing with the investigations. French authorities say that initial inquiries into the passing of a South African ambassador to France and former cabinet minister Nathi Mthethwa suggest it may have been a deliberate act, with no sign of a struggle before he apparently fell from the 22nd floor of Paris' tallest hotel on Tuesday, the 30th of September 2025, after being reported missing on Monday. His passing was confirmed by the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Ronald Lamola, on Tuesday, amid reports that he may have plunged into his passing from the 34th story hotel, where he had a room reserved on the 22nd floor. The French publication said that ambassador's disappearance was reported by his wife on Monday, who indicated that she had received a worrying message from him in the evening, fearing a possible suicide, according to the publication. According to this publication, a French prosecutor said Mthethwa sent a message to his wife on Monday in which he apologized and expressed his intention to end his life. Let me tell you something, you guys. People have been saying, what was he apologizing for? Lalela, as somebody that has a husband, my husband always has something that he needs to apologize for, okay? Sometimes it's the socks on the floor. Sometimes it's the cup that he had coffee with 3 days ago that is still sitting in the coffee table. They always have something to apologize for. So the possibilities are endless. He could have been cheating even on his wife and he was apologizing for that. But also he could have been apologizing for what he was about to do, because obviously you know that if you are about to take your life, that your family is not going to be happy about that. That is not a good thing. That is going to affect them. So maybe he was apologizing for what he was about to do. Okay. So it says here, this is what the investigation into the passing entrusted to the First Judicial Police District of Paris will need to determine. For now, the initial inquiry suggests that it could be a deliberate act without involvement of a third party. Okay, it was reported that a duty magistrate went to the scene around midday. The publication also claimed that authorities said Mthethwa had booked the hotel room about 10 days earlier. Okay, I was thinking about that and I was like, I mean, there's so many possibilities, because if you're going to go on a trip, whether it's work trip or whatever, you might just book 10 days earlier. Does it mean anything? I don't know. Okay. Also, you guys, there is a thought of, did he book the hotel room already knowing that he was going to commit this act? You know, nobody's going to know if he didn't leave a note behind. Okay. That same evening around 9:30 p.m., Nathi Mthethwa sent a final disturbing message to his wife. He offered her his apologies and expressed his intention to end his life. It was on Tuesday around 11:10 a.m. that the security guard at the hotel made a grim discovery in the hotel's inner courtyard. In his room, located on the 22nd floor of the tower, the window safety mechanism had been forced with the scissors left on the side. Neither sign of struggle nor evidence of medication or drugs were found. Okay, so there was no medication. Okay, and there was no Sizokuthola substance, because I mean, they needed to check. Maybe he wasn't in his right mind. Maybe he took too much of his normal medication and something happened. Maybe he was, experimenting with his Sizokuthola substance, but they are saying that none of that was found. There was no sign of that. According to News 24, windows in the rooms in the hotel were secured and could only be opened about 10 centimeter wide. Mthethwa's phone was reportedly last active on at a large park located kilometers away from the hotel. That was another strange thing for me. Does that mean that he sent a message to his wife when he wasn't at the hotel because he had made a decision this is what he was going to do, and then went to the hotel? Because the last time that the phone was active was kilometers away from the hotel, even though they don't say how many kilometers. Now, what I don't know is if they found the phone with him. Was the phone somewhere close by? Was the phone in the room? Or is the phone still missing? Because that will be interesting as well to hear about. In a statement on Tuesday, President Ramaphosa said the untimely passing of Ambassador Nathi Mthethwa is a moment of deep grief in which the government and citizens stand beside the Mthethwa family. Okay. So that's what's going on, you guys. I think that the rest of it is just talking about how the other politicians are feeling about this situation. Okay. Now, you guys, I know there are a lot of theories now going around. We are watching the Madlanga Commission right now, and people are saying maybe he did not want to get to a point where he would have to go and explain himself in front of the commission. But guys, Nathi Mthethwa was not new to controversy. Do you remember the flag? Okay, let me read for you. Mthethwa's career was not without controversy. As the police minister, he presided over one of the country's darkest democratic moments, the 2012 Marikana massacre, when 34 striking mine workers were gunned down by police. Daily Maverick reported at the time that Mthethwa struggled to respond with the political accountability required, while the opposition parties accused him of ducking responsibility for the bloodshed. Calls for his resignation grew, and he remained in the post until 2014. Later, as Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, Mthethwa again found himself under fire, this time over the proposed 22 million monumental flag project, which he unveiled in 2022. The initiative was billed as a nation-building exercise, but instead provoked widespread anger in the country, battling unemployment, inequalities, and hunger. Daily Maverick described the plan as extravagant, completely at odds with the lived reality of millions in South Africa. The public backlash was so intense that Cyril Ramaphosa intervened and ordered that the project be scrapped. Mthethwa considered that the flag had become a divisive issue rather than a unifying one, but the episode cemented his image as a minister out of touch of the ordinary citizen. Okay. Now, you guys, what I'm saying is, number one, in South Africa, even when politicians have been exposed for being corrupt, we have not really seen even one politician being held accountable and maybe ending up in prison. Okay, give me 5 names of people that have been exposed for being corrupt and they end up in prison. It never happens in South Africa. Okay, that's one. Number 2, if he was worried about his image, I mean, he's been through, controversy before and he survived. So I'm just wondering, you guys, is this a coincidence where he was just going through his stuff and, ended up doing what he did? Or is it really about what we are dealing with in the country, which wouldn't make sense for me, because I don't think any of these politicians are going to end up in prison, because it never happens in South Africa. They always open the commission and people go and they talk and they talk and they reveal and they reveal and they reveal, and then it ends there. Nobody ever goes to prison. Okay, so I don't think that people should be taking their own lives. And besides, you guys, don't take your own life. We just want to hear the truth. Okay? At least tell us the truth. You understand. Anyway, you guys, just to wrap it up, from this article, one thing that is new is the fact that, one, they don't think there was anybody else in that hotel room. There is a pair of scissors that they think was used to open this window, and the window opens 10 centimeters. Where's my ruler? How did he come? How did he? This is 10 centimeters. How did it come out? They said that the window only opens this much. Okay. But anyway, to wrap it up, they concluded that there was no one else at the room, or there isn't any evidence that indicates that there was anyone else in the room. 2, they're saying that they didn't find anything that indicates there was any medication taken or Sizoktola substance. Okay, and also the window opens this much. And the room was booked 10 days prior to the incident. Now, that, I don't know, you guys, if really it makes a difference, because, for example, if I'm going to go on a trip end of this month, I might have booked that, trip already. So, or booked the hotel room or the lodge or whatever. So, I don't know if that's relevant, but, yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it before putting on a share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. And Tandakul, I know Nathi was not as fat as me, but they mean the other side. 10 centimeters. Maybe they mean 10 meters. Anyway, in Tandakul.